So right now I'm in the suburbs of Medina. The Masjid Al Haram is about 2 minutes walk that way. In fact, you might even be able to see it. So yes, there is. So that's Masjid Al Haram right there. You can see the minarets on top of on the tip of my finger, and then you can see the surrounding area right here. Yep, so there are lots of streets. You would see lots of shops like this. I mean, most of these buildings are hotels accommodating the pilgrims visiting around Medina. So it looks really nice. It looks rather, especially some of the roads and buildings around here. It looks sort of like the central London area, where you would see rows and rows of houses, uniformed, and a couple of shops here and there. I'm just gonna try to walk down about 5 minutes and see what's on the other side. But it's a very, very nice street. It's well laid out. The buildings look very nice. They're whitish in color predominantly, and there are lots of new buildings, but not very high-rise ones. So you're not seeing skyscrapers like you've seen in Mecca. The city is rather peaceful, although around here you can see there are lots of cars and it is somewhat busy now. As people from all sorts of communities, predominantly you would see Pakistanis, Bangladeshis. You'd see them rather frequently, and there are lots of businesses owned or operated by Bangladeshis and Pakistanis. So, there it is. I'm gonna buy some food from here later on. Okay, so people from the subcontinent have made this place their home since a very, very long time. So what does this say? Fadila al-Alama al-Sheikh Muhammad al-Amin bin Muhammad al-Mukhtar bin Abdul Qadir al-Shankiti Street. MashaAllah, may Allah bless him. I bet he has as much money as he has names in length. You see cats around here very often. Obviously, you're not going to see any dogs. People love cats. Cats are they're pure, clean, and they're said to invite angels to your home. So they're very nice to have around. I haven't seen any dog. I don't think anybody would be sort of petting dogs around here or having them in their homes. So I'm very it's the contrast is significant and very noticeable. In Mecca it's like it's lots of people all over, especially when the adhan goes off. People have to go to the masjid to pray, so they do, and then people are on the side of the roads are trying to sell products to them, and when people are going after they have prayed, that's when they seem to want to buy. Obviously they're not in a rush to go and pray, and they wouldn't stand around and miss the prayer. So most of that happens after people have prayed, and alhamdulillah, the business, by the looks of it, they are running well, because people have come from all over the world. They would like to do some shopping. I've done some shopping myself, but as it always happens when you're shopping for a luggage, you never really can figure out what exactly is it that you should buy or not. Alhamdulillah, it looks good. There's a couple of jeans around here. I might have a look at one of them jeans later on. but there's no space in the luggage, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. All right, there's another Pakistani restaurant, very good because I'm actually gonna have to buy something later on. I had some burger and some chips earlier. I mean, it wasn't that great to be honest with you. And then I went to buy something even earlier, and some gentleman gave me some free food. So may Allah bless him. Yes, I mean it looks very very nice. I mean I'm only here in Medina for about 2 days, so it would have been very nice. I mean I would have liked to walk the entirety of the city and see how different parts of it look like. Mashallah, there is a saloon here as well because I've been looking to trim my beard, so that's good stuff. I was trying to get my beard trimmed in Mecca, but none of the saloons would do, well, salons, whatever that is, barbers. None of the barbers would trim my beard because they are committed to just shaving the heads of the people doing Umrah. Fair enough, but very good to see that there is one here. But we're gonna have to haggle the price down a little bit though. But I look relatively poor, so that's okay. Because the problem is if the people see that you are like well dressed and probably come from some rich family, whatever, which is obviously not the case in my case. Regardless, if people see that you're affluent or you might be affluent, then they feel like you might be willing to pay. It's all part of the trade. It's all part of the trade. I mean, it's not necessarily that people are always trying to trick you or deceive you. It's just the way things happen. I mean, if people can sell you something at a slightly higher price, they would. I mean, that's how businesses work. But of course, this is not to say that there are no people. I mean, this is not to say that you can't find people who try to exploit you. In any case, nobody would like to have the feeling that they've been exploited. I mean, you'd rather give somebody a little bit of money happily, say, here, take this and buy yourself a cup of tea or something. But you don't want to lose that same amount of money because somebody sort of kind of deceived you, because it makes you feel bad. Anyway, it's one thing that I've noticed. I mean, it is worth haggling a lot, and you can get the prices reduced to some extent in many cases if you do. Some pilgrims, of course, I mean, many people who come here, they're not affluent people at all. They're coming in many instances. They're coming from many poor countries, so they just about had enough money to travel to this kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and they don't have much money to go and spend around. So they would be looking to save money, and in that case, it makes sense to negotiate a price. Of course, there are people from other parts of the world as well. I mean, there are lots of people from Europe and North America, so you have the Muslim communities from these countries, these continents. Alhamdulillah, they are comparatively more affluent. They can save enough money to come to perform Hajj and Umrah and other religious obligations. It happens that many people from Europe and North America, they tend to sort of come to Umrah and Hajj rather frequently compared to people from other parts of the world, like Bangladesh, for example. But in any case, I mean, I'm only here tomorrow, so I will be trying to sort of travel and visit a couple of other places. So a couple of famous masjids, couple of notable Islamic historic sites, if Allah wills. If only the prices are not too unreasonable though. Because tomorrow is the only day I'll be around. On the day after that, I would have to make my way to the airport in the morning because I have a flight around 11 o'clock. So, mashallah, it looks nice, it looks good, it looks like any other highly developed city. It's the roads are really, really wide. As you can see, people have parked their car on the sides. There is a system of sewer, there is a system of collecting bins. There's not many sort of traffic lights per se, but I suppose there's no need for one. I mean, there are traffic lights where there needs to be, but I think the drivers have sufficient level of understanding among them to sort of just go about without sort of getting themselves in some kind of trouble. The speed, I mean, especially in the highways, is obviously much higher than in the UK. So you can go up. I've seen like notice board or saying speed of up to 110, 20, whatever miles per hour or kilometers per hour. I'm not really sure what the unit they use here. So you certainly can go much faster than many other parts of the world. Certainly in the UK. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine why this might be the case. I mean, Saudi Arabia is considerably larger than the UK. I mean, the UK is it's a relatively very small country. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, is probably about 2/3 of the entire Europe. I mean, it's a huge country. The Arabian Peninsula, people sometimes don't realize how huge it is. It's probably bigger than the entire Europe. So it is huge, although there's not many places where you can have like trees and forests or amenities that allows people to sort of survive. It's inhospitable due to the climate, the weather, and so on and so forth. But this doesn't change the fact that it is a huge place, and to get from one place to another, you would rather go rather fast, because you don't want to be stuck in a road going 50 miles per hour, and it takes you 3 days to get there. So it makes sense why they would want to have speed limit having higher than other countries where the size of those countries are much smaller. But I've seen the drivers, I mean, in my little experience that I had here in this country so far, I felt like people are responsible while they're driving. So, I mean, in Mecca especially, you would have the pilgrims. They are walking all across, because it's impossible to stay on one side of the road. So people are always walking all over the road. But the car drivers, they're very careful when they're crossing. So they have a very good situational awareness, and they can navigate through the challenges presented to them on the road by the people, by the pedestrians. So alhamdulillah, it's good. This is of course not to say the accident doesn't happen. I'm sure accidents happen like they do everywhere. But to my experience, to my knowledge of last couple of days, it seems to me like they've got a good system going on in here. So it's working. I mean, of course, they have spent a lot of money developing their roads, their infrastructure, their systems. They continue to do so. They've got something called Vision 2030 plans. They're spending something like $1 trillion on building a city. I don't know if putting $1 trillion, sorry if I said 1 billion earlier, $1 trillion worth of eggs in one basket. I'm not really sure if that's a good idea, but obviously I'm not the one who makes decision around here. I can barely survive myself, let alone make $1 trillion decision. Okay, I think there's some construction stuff gonna go on here now. By the looks of it, they raised a building and probably gonna build another one or not. Once again, you can see some more cats here. There's a brother here, he's busy with his phone like everybody else in the UK. It's one thing in common, everybody's busy with their phones. I don't know what people do in their phones nowadays, but they're always busy. I'm always busy on my phone. Everybody else is busy on their phone. Life is just the phone nowadays. Okay, so there is a zebra crossing here. I don't know if the zebra crossing works the way it does in the UK, so I'm going to stand here and see if they stop. Nope. So I don't know why they put the zebra crossing there then. If they're not going to stop. I mean, people would cross from anywhere. Anyway, never mind. Maybe they're supposed to stop, but they didn't, because they realized that this guy, look at him, he's dressed really poor, so it doesn't matter if we break the law on him. It's not like he's going to be able to do anything. I mean, obviously, if I was some kind of sheikh, looking like one of those sheikh, very important person, maybe they would have acted differently. In any case, it didn't happen. they didn't stop, but it wasn't a problem because I was able to cross the road rather seamlessly, actually. Right, so this area sort of looks like the Middle Eastern version of what can I say? The Middle Eastern version of the suburbs of London, I suppose. So you're looking at around Dagenham, you're looking at parts of Ilford and Barking, where you'd see the roads are sort of widening up. Streets are filled with shops, small buildings, no high rises. Although I haven't seen any high-rise building. There is an airport nearby. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So let's see what's going on this side. So almost all these shops are operated by, if not owned by, Bangladeshis and Pakistanis. So presumably there are two here. You can see all the brands that you see in the UK. I mean, there's no difference. I mean, I've seen a H&M shop on the map the other day when I was coming to Medina. They've got McDonald's, KFCs, all that stuff, basically. So it's more or less, you're like, if you're coming from the UK, I mean, you can find yourself a better home, and that is only that is if we are sort of into that kind of food stuff. I mean, it's not something that we should be into, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Okay, so I see clothes. I have no interest in clothes because I don't want to buy any more. I haven't bought much clothes, but I suppose I can buy clothes when I go back home, and I don't want to waste space in the luggage. I might just buy some dates, to be honest with you, because dates, ajwa dates, I mean, it's difficult to get hold of in Bangladesh, for example, and even if you can find it, I would rather not trust it, to be honest with you. I don't know what the source is, but I from what I've seen, ajwa dates are quite unique in their texture and in the way they look. So in the way they look, so it's difficult to mistake. All right, I see a alleyway there. I'm sure I shouldn't be going this way, but I'm just gonna go because I want to see what's in there. If somebody says something, I'm just gonna step away and walk back. All right, so there is a mount here. Okay, all right, so that's the back of the building. There's a mount. All right, so these are the water tanks by the looks of it. There's a small mountain, and this area is fenced off, so obviously, well, fenced off kinda, because somebody broke the fence a little bit, and you can go in. You know what, if it was the day, then I would have gone to see what's up in the city, but probably not now, to be honest with you, because probably won't be able to see anything anyway because it's dark.